Hello everybody, it's Julia Laird with Senior Susie Stamps, and today I wanted us to look at some shaped easel cards. And all of these have been cut on my ScanNCut, and I want to show you how to do that today because I know several of you have ScanNCuts and you've asked for some ScanNCut videos. I know a lot of you don't, but this is for the folks that do have ScanNCut. And what I'm going to show you is how to weld this joint right here so that you can cut these and then save them in your ScanNCut and repeat cut if you want to make multiple cards, or if you just want to use that shape again, like this butterfly in this size. These are all A2. They'll fit in an A2 size envelope, and they're all set up and ready to go. I thought I'd show you each one. Now on this little dragonfly, I used some glitter nail polish on the wings, which gives it a really nice sparkling. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but it's really pretty. And I used some stock sentiments. This one doesn't have a sentiment on it yet, but you can see I cut the liner paper on the ScanNCut plus this layer here. The reason I chose an oval for that is because of this piece of decoupage paper towel. Now on the butterfly, it actually has 3 layers, and I only used 2 on this one. These little shimmery dots here are some diamond painting dots, and if you all are not familiar with those, they're really inexpensive gemstones, and they're nice for, you know, just gluing on a little piece like this. But you can see the inside is welded together so that it's all one piece of paper, and then you just glue the top on. Now the top on that one, I inked a embossing folder and ran it through. I put 4 different colors of ink on the embossing folder. It just adds a lot of dimension to it. On the little dress form here, I cut the dress. Now the edge here, I used my decorative scissors, but everything else is cut on the ScanNCut, and I just thought it turned out to be a really pretty little card for someone that needed a little word of encouragement. So before we start now, I want you to look at this Christmas tree, because these are all mirror images right to left. This Christmas tree, however, is different on the left side than it is on the right side. We're not going to talk about this type of image today. We're going to talk about the ones that are mirror images right to left, so keep that in mind, because it's a little different procedure to do this type of thing than those. So I'm going to take the camera now over to the ScanNCut station and set up there, and I'll be right back. Okay, before we get started, I want to show you how I do my paper. This is an old mat. I keep my mats clean, and I retack them when I need to. And if you are not sure how to retack your mat and you want me to show you that, let me turn the light on. Sorry about that. If you want me to show you how to retack your mat, I'm happy to do that. There's a lot of videos out there, and some of them are a little over the top. But at any rate, I'm happy to help with that if you want me to. Now, when I put my paper down, I'm a little careful with it, and I make sure that this outside blue line is showing all the way around, and that my paper is right up next to it, because some of these images cut really close to that line. And I don't have a Cricut machine, but I have a spatula from Cricut. I got this one because the one from ScanNCut was about twice the price. I don't understand that, but at any rate. And I'll go ahead and burnish my paper down onto that mat, because it is tacky, but it's not super tacky. And I'm going to cut a lot of this paper out today, and I want that to stay where I put it. Now I'm going to load my machine, and I'm going to have to move the camera, so bear with me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open my cutting deck. Now this is an older machine. It's a CM350, and I took my mic and put it on top of the light, so I'm hoping it's going to work that way. But I'm going to load this mat So I'm going to turn my machine on. And it has a disclaimer that comes up, and I just click OK. I know you can turn that off, but it's not worth my time and effort to do that. I'm sorry. Okay, so then I'm going to push this load button and make sure that my mat loads properly. And it has. And now I want to go to pattern, and I think we're going to do another oval this time. So I hit pattern, and then you'll see on this front screen there's all different kinds of stuff. The basic shapes are over here, and that's what I'm going to look for now. Let's see if we can find another oval. And there they are right there. And I believe I'm going to do one with the same scallop edge because I kind of like that one. And I'm just showing you today now how to weld these together. So I'm going to take this and turn it, and that's the symbol that you use. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees and hit OK. And that makes it going up and down the way I like to use them for the most part. And then I'm going to change the height. I'm sorry, I bumped the camera. Then I'm going to change the height to 5.5. And I'm going to leave the automatic proportions the way they are set on the machine. You can change those by hitting this button down here, but then if you're going to do your layer cutting for the pattern paper, it's kind of counterproductive to do that. And you'll see the width is just right for an A2 size card. Then I'm going to put 3 of these in there, and I'm going to hit set. And now you'll see all 3 of them. And I'm going to come over and hit this button right here and take this one and move it over, and I'm pushing it as far as I can towards the edge. See, now I haven't moved that one up there, and it's right next to the edge. I want to move that up just a little bit, and you can look at your future weld by increasing it to 200%. And then using your arrow down key so you can see how much of a weld that's going to be. I want to have a little bit more of that there. I think that'll be just about perfect. And again, it's over this way just as far as it'll go. So I'm going to hit OK. And then just to be a little conservative on paper, I'm going to take this shape and move it down to snuggle it up so that there won't be any issue with cutting over on this edge here. And then I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to come over and select, and that selects all of them when you hit the button that shows the entire screen. And I'm going to deselect this one and hit OK. And then I'm going to use this button right here, and that's your weld button. See, those 2 shapes are separate, and this is a welded shape, and that's what I want right there. And you'll notice that it says to weld the pattern on line is irreversible. And I'm going to hit OK, and hit OK again. And there's my shapes to cut. So that's all right. And now I'm going to hit cut, and I'm going to start the cut over here on the start button, and it'll process on through. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so now it has finished cutting, and I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to go back. And if I wanted to save this, I would hit save, and I would save it to my machine here, and then it will give me the number, which is the next number in line. It's image number 31, and I'd hit OK. I don't want to save this one to my machine because I've already got one on there. So I'm going to hit home. Well, I'll have to hit OK. Sorry about that. I'm going to hit home now, and it says OK to delete all patterns, and I'm going to hit all right. And now I'm going to go back and pull my paper out by hitting the little feed button. So now I'm going to go ahead and load this piece of red paper onto my cutting mat, and then we're going to cut 2 scallop pieces, one for the front and one for the inside, using the ScanNCut. And then I'm going to go back into that pattern and go back to the same pattern again. So I'm loading my mat. And now I'm going back into pattern, going to shapes, and I'm going to go back down and pull that same little scallop image. Now this time it doesn't matter if it's this way or the other way. I don't care, because I'm going to cut 2 of them out of a piece of paper, and they kind of need to be going that way. So I'm going to adjust my width now to 5 1/4. And you'll notice that the height travels along with it, because I didn't change that. And I want 2 of them. And I'll hit set, and I'm going to move this down here because of the way the paper shape is. There we go. And I'm going to hit OK and cut. And now my designer paper is going to be cut for the inside and the top cover. Okay, my cut has finished, and I'm going to hit OK. I'm not saving this, so I can just back right on out of it and hit home, hit OK to delete. I'm going to eject my mat, turn it off, drop my deck down, and close my machine up. And I keep my machine covered because, as you know, Cordelia lives up here. And I just have an old pillowcase. Sometimes I use a quilted cover, but that's what I use to cover my machine up with. So let's go back to the desk and see about making this card. This is the paper that I'm going to use. It came from Honeysuckle card kit from Hot Off the Press Paper Wishes. This is all I have left, is just really the die cuts and that one sheet of red that you saw me cut earlier. So it's a good way to use up some scraps to do some of these cards on your ScanNCut. And if I had only had a little piece, I would have put that up in the far left corner and cut that one, and then cut this one out of a second piece of some other paper. But all I have left now are the die cuts and these 2 little pieces of paper, plus whatever the little red that was left from this one over there. So let me get this out of there. And this white piece is left from cutting the card base. And so I'm going to go ahead and cut it apart. And I will trim it out after we're through, so that these are nice sized rectangles. And then those go over in my large white scrap tray that I keep up here. And you can see I've added some to here this week. So I'll get these out of the way because they're just pretty much debris as far as I'm concerned. Now, this has to be scored, of course. And then the inside layer will need to be trimmed just a little bit, but we're going to score first, and then we'll cut. And when I score these, I put them in to where something on this side is touching, and then I have 2 points up here touching. And then I'm looking for my center line to score. And of course, it's not going to be 5 1/2 now, remember, because we welded this a little bit. But if you have your 3-point contact, then you know your score is going to be straight. And it looks like I need to actually move this just a little in order to get it into a score groove. So I'm making sure my 2 points up here are good and snug, and I'm just going to go ahead and score that. There we go. And then I can fold it and burnish it. And what I'm going to look for on this side, which will be the easel part, is 2 3/4 inches, which is half of 5 1/2. And I'm just going to score that at 2 3/4 inches. If it's a portrait style card. Now, if it were a landscape style card, it would be 2 1/8 inches, of course. So now we're ready to put this card together, and I need to trim that inside panel just a little bit. Let's see about how much needs to come off. Now, while we're talking about this, you'll notice that this is not an exact 1/4 inch all the way around. It has an elongated shape, and it just won't, it doesn't. I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is. So it looks like I need to cut it right there at those points to me. So that's what I'm going to cut. And I'm going to make sure that I try to cut it straight so that when it goes on, it will look nice on the inside. And there we go. This one should be good to put down just as it is. I'm going to use Books by Hand PVA glue today because it has a little bit longer slip time than my art glitter glue. And on a project like this where you're trying to get something situated in a nice look, then I need just a little extra time. This is the top piece, the single. And I'm just going to lay this down on that with an approximate border and see how it looks. And there we go. And then this will go on the front, and I think it'll be a pretty card. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the inside and do the same thing. Come out in those little scallops just a little bit, not enough to be smeary. And I don't ever over glue my things because you just don't need to. And so this is going on the base. Now the one with the score, of course, is the top. You know, we're working on an easel fold here. There we go. And I'm going to burnish this little piece right here with my bone folder. And this one's ready to glue on. And I'm going to put glue on the base. Pretty much the same way I did the top and the bottom inside. Not a lot, but enough. And then I'm going to put this top piece on just like you would with a die-cut easel card. And that works really well that way. Make sure that all of your little points that are going to be visible are where they need to be. There we go. And there's your easel card, ready to roll. And see, now this is saved in my ScanNCut. I didn't save the layers, but I could have. And it's ready to go. So let's go ahead and get a card made. I think I'll put this piece up on some foam and see what we can get done here with these little bits and bobs and scraps of things. And I hope it'll turn out to be a pretty card. Now, if you were doing this with die cuts, of course you could do the same. And just fold your paper and then leave your folded part drop down in your die cut just like this, and it would work just fine. But for those of you who have a ScanNCut, you might as well use it. And making shaped easel cards is a great way to use it once you learn that little weld. And let me know if you want me to come back and tell you about asymmetrical, because I'll have to go back and figure that out. I may have forgotten how to do that, so it's been a while. But it's not hard to do either. It's just a matter of learning it again. Okay, I want to make sure I get this kind of set straight. And I think this is just going to be a basic happy birthday card. maybe. And that looks pretty good right like that, doesn't it? Okay, let's glue that one down. This is lightweight paper. It doesn't have any substance at all. It's some of the older Paper Wishes paper. And I'm happy to get it used up. But just because it's a little older doesn't make it any less beautiful, does it? Now let me see. I think we'll add a few more little flowers here and there. Let's do the inside first because I think I'm going to put this on the inside and have it come up like that. Perhaps. Let's look. I might just do this flower. I think I like just the flower better. And that one I can just put up on a nice piece of foam. And I'll put this back and save it for another card later. And kind of make it a little bit off the center there. There we go. And then let's add a few little bits and bobs here. Pink and red and chartreuse and gray. I would never consider that color palette, but somehow it works and it's really nice. I like it. It's colorful, it's cheerful, and that's one of the nice things about buying designer paper. It stretches your imagination just a touch over what you might consider good colors to use together. There we go. And let's see what kind of little Jimmy Jims I might have. I've got some yellow ones. Maybe some clear ones would be pretty on this card since it's so colorful already. Let's try that and see. I'm going to use my art glitter glue for that because I want it, whoops, I want it to grab and hold fairly quickly. Get my gem picker from over here. I like to use that fine point on my gem picker for these. There. And then maybe another couple of them up here. Simple card, easy to put together. Got a little too much glue. Can't help that. It's done now. And then maybe a little something for the inside. Here and here. What do you think? I think so. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Hope y'all have had a good week. We've had some storms here again this week. Whew, I'm about tired of that, aren't you? Hey now, you know what my studio smells like? It smells like cherry cobbler because I made one this morning. Whew. I can't hardly wait to get into that. I'm going to show you a picture of it here at the end, so bear with me. You all will be wanting to come to the house and have some coffee and cobbler. Of course, you'd be welcome. Yeah, absolutely. There we are. Card done. So let me know if you have a favorite. That one certainly is colorful and cheerful, and I can imagine whoever got that would just be delighted with it. So let me cover this up. And I'll bring the rest of these cards back out for you to scope them out just a little bit. This one I think might be my favorite. Be unique, be real, not perfect. I really like that one. And this one, I just love that paper towel. I think it's so pretty. And see how much different it is than that one, but I used the same basic concept, same plate in my ScanNCut. And once you go back in there and pull it from pattern, it takes only a few seconds to cut them, and you're good to go. So let me know if you have a favorite, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye, y'all. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.